If you have not had your ear or eye or eyes on social media, well, unfortunately, folks, the September 5th release date for Stalker 2, which is an Xbox and PC exclusive, unfortunately has been moved to November 20th, 2024, right before Thanksgiving here in the States. So I have the press release from GSC Game World, who are the developers of this amazing looking title. It's going to slap. It's Unreal Engine 5. The game looks phenomenal, but I'm in the camp of let them cook. This is what they had to say in their press release released early this morning. To our players, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl will now be launching on November 20th, 2024. Moving from the previous planned date of September 5th, 2024, we know that you might be tired of waiting. We truly appreciate your patience. These 2 additional months will give us the chance to fix more unexpected anomalies, or simply put, bugs, as you call them. Stalker 2 is shaping up to be everything that we envisioned. With the launch nearly here, we are incredibly excited to share more with you to give you a taste of what's coming. We're thrilled to announce that the Stalker 2 developer deep dive video, which will be released on Xbox media channels on August 12th, is coming. This detailed update will include exclusive interviews, lots of new footage of the game, and a full video walkthrough of one of the game's quests. We can't wait for you to see it and get a comprehensive understanding on how the game looks and plays. Once again, we are always grateful for your ongoing support and understanding. It means the world to us. We're just as eager as you to finally release the game for you to experience it for yourself. With love and gratitude, GSC Game World. Now, folks, look, I've seen some really good takes on this from the community. A lot of really positive, hey, let them cook. We understand you've been through it. You got to remember Russia is still, doing what they're doing. This is a team that was in the country that Russia invaded. Obviously, they were displaced. They had to be, their entire lives had to be moved. And some of their staffers, some of their actual game developers stayed behind to defend the country and died in the line of duty. This studio has gone through it. And look, at the end of the day, yes, it is another delay, but we have seen delays before. And what asking you as a human, what do you want? Do you want a half-baked game? And then it comes out and like, oh, it's not what we really wanted, but, we understand. No, let them continue to cook. 2 more months isn't going to kill us. Now, see, Money, before I hand the mic to you, I do want to bring up Colt Eastwood specifically, and I'm a big fan of Colt. We're good friends. We hung out almost for a week in L.A. I've met him and his wife multiple times. Great people. He actually put out a tweet not condemning the delay, because Colt's not like that, but he did ask a question. I kind of want to pose this to the chat, but I also want to pose it to you. And he says this, see, Stalker 2's new release date in November really complicates the release window for now Avowed, Indiana Jones, and Flight Simulator 2024. I think that they all could release in that window. Again, we've heard Avowed is November. Again, that date leaked. It has not been confirmed. Maybe they move it up. Maybe they push it out. Maybe they just leave it where it is, right? Flight Sim 2024 is its own entity. It has its core group. I don't think that releasing close to Avowed or Indiana Jones is going to hurt that game. The same thing with Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is supposedly December. Maybe, and again, I say maybe, folks, we get a surprise announcement at Gamescom that's happening soon in a couple of weeks. maybe I'm not saying it's going to be a shadow drop, but maybe we get a release date for September rather than December. I'm not sure, but I think that, at least in my opinion, I do not think that Stalker 2's release delay to the 20th of November is going to kind of muck up, if you will, Avowed, Indiana Jones, or Flight Simulator. But let's before you answer that, let's get your hot take and your response to the announced delay.
So this is the thing. First off, like we gotta acknowledge the fact that Stalker 2, they don't have a lot out right now that they're banking this large amount of money from that's keeping them afloat, right? I think we know at this point that Microsoft has been doing a lot of heavy lifting for that team to help them through everything that they've gone through
Yep.
and to help give them this time. Now, understand something. Xbox is one of the most amazing platform holders there is when it comes to allowing these teams to do what's right
Yep.
and take the time they need to make these games. Xbox Phil understands that if they push these games out when they're not ready, you end up with a Spider-Man 2 situation where Spider Cube is a thing when people talk about and think about the Spider-Man 2 game. Okay, this is the reality of what it is. This team, they could add with all the money they spent so far on helping this team develop this game. From what we've heard, they spent enough money that they could pretty much already be owning this studio. Instead of saying, guys, listen, I understand that you're going through all this stuff, but we already delayed the hell out of this game. This game was supposed to come out towards the beginning of this year. Now we September. We already started thinking about our other games surrounding that. Now you need more time. We're in the end of July, right? So now you need more time to go ahead and fix this game and to not have bugs. Like, are you kidding me? Get it done, or we can't keep funding this. Like, this is a 100% conversation that could have happened, right? But this is not what they did, right? Because Phil understands that at the end of the day, the game has to be good for it to matter. And it's under, no matter how we cut it, it's under the Xbox brand, even though it's not a first party studio. People are going to be looking at this
Yet.
game. Yeah,
I
yeah,
say
I
yet.
believe they buy them. I believe they
Me
buy
too.
that studio. At this point, they could already be owned for all we know because they're not going to cost a lot of money. But I do believe they buy them. At this point, what is this team going to do after this game is not going to sell crazy, right? And it's not because it's not a good game. It's just because this is the way these games are. They're more they're not like Call of Duty, run, gun, go crazy, right? They're slower pace. It's just what happens with these types of games. So for Microsoft, it's going to be a great win to have a studio like them. So I do think they'll scoop it up. But regards to that, for them to be able to have this extra time to release the game when they feel it's it's done and it's ready to go. That's important because what it shows you is that as a developer, they are very concerned with how this game is received. They don't want it to just come out to make whatever money they're going to make
Well, they have
and get
pride in
whatever
the
score.
work that they're trying
They're
to put
proud
forth.
of their work.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. And they understand that, yes, you could release it and then 2 months later drop a patch, right? And be like, hey, we fixed the problems you had, guys. It was good enough for launch, but now it's the real time you did it. And then all the people who beat the game, like playing it in the worst version of it, didn't get to experience what the people who waited do, right? And that's not cool, right? So for them to say, hey, we're gonna hold off, we need more time, kudos to them. Kudos to Microsoft for allowing it. This is a great thing across the board. Now, when it comes to the time of release, right? Look, let's be clear. Even in September, things were crowded, right? There's a lot of stuff coming out
Yes.
in September.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff coming out in October. There's a lot of stuff coming out in November. I mean, this is just the reality of where we're heading in the fall season, right? This is normal, right? In fall season, it's crazy. There's always a bunch of games that are coming out, and this is just the reality of what it is. That being said, the beauty of the Xbox situation, okay? Remember, normally Like if you're a PlayStation fan, okay, and you only have PlayStation, if 5 games come out in a month that you really were excited for, that you really wanted to play, well, guess what? You're gonna spend $400 on 5 games, and that's it. Or you're gonna have to pick and choose, right? Which one? Well, I can only get one now. Maybe next month I could get another one. Maybe the month after that I can get another one. Maybe the month after that I can get another one. We are not the same. Okay. We have Game Pass. And what Game Pass allows is for these games to come out almost on top of each other, right? But still live in a world where they don't have to worry about selling after that big 6 week, mark where the first 6 weeks are where you're going to get like your most sales. And then after that, it's going to taper off. It doesn't matter for Xbox games because they are living in this Game Pass service. That's why a game like Forza Horizon that came out and then 2 weeks later they dropped the multiplayer beta for Halo, and it kind of, you know, made it so that it slowed down the growth right there and then. Well, guess what? What happened? Picked right back up. Where are we? We're at 40 million players
Yeah.
for Horizon.
Yeah.
40 million.
A niche title, according to some people in the industry. Yeah.
Exactly, right? PlayStation would die to have a 40 million player game. And Microsoft just has a bunch of these 15 to 40 million player games just all over the place now, right? Like it's just a normal thing for them. But again, with Game Pass, it helps the situation, right? It makes it so that you're not screwed if a game comes out a week later because people chose to buy that game over this game. It's not a scenario, man. We have 35 million people on Game Pass that will be able to play all of these games, even if they drop next to each other. It is what it is. Now, will some games get played more than others in the beginning? Sure. But that's just what it is. And then it will all find its place. It's a different world, man. And Xbox, again, it's easy to try to pigeonhole them into, oh, I thought Game Pass was supposed to be the sustainable thing. Why'd you close down these studios? We know why they closed down the studios they closed down. Leadership was gone. The dude left. He promised Phil, listen, Tango, Phil was so excited. So excited. When you watch that video on the roundtable when he's talking to Bethesda about the studios and the purchase, he was so pumped to have the Resident Evil dude in that studio and them to make a game together. And that dude made 0 games with Phil and the team under Xbox. Everything he released was already coming out. He made nothing. That was a heartbreaking situation for Phil. And at the end of the day, the leadership was gone. So there's nothing to have there. They didn't do this stuff. They didn't close those studios because Game Pass doesn't work. Game Pass is what allows these studios to make the games they want. Pentiment came out. Look at that game, was able to live on a service that it wasn't going to sell a lot, right? But it was
No.
able to live there, right? This is what Game Pass allows. And in a world where you have financially difficult times where people can't just be spending crazy amount of money on everything all the time, it's just not feasible, especially for gaming, which is a luxury, right? It's a hobby, right? Dude, Game Pass allows it. So at the end of the day, when you look at what is going on, having a bunch of games coming out in a small window of time, listen, it's just going to be a spike in Game Pass subscriptions, right? It's just going to make
Indeed.
people want to subscribe. That's all that means. It all of a sudden goes from a, oh my God, what are the studios going to do to, oh my God, Game Pass is going to go through the roof when all these games drop because there people are going to be like, man, I'm not going to buy all those games. I'm going to get Game Pass.